All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome back to True Crime Loser. How you doing? All right, that's good. So today we are going to talk about the Lee Rodarte interrogation, and the lesson with this one is you never go full Rodarte. That's also now my new excuse. If the outrage people ever come after me, they're like, Mr. Sharp, you have been brought forth in front of the Board of Outrage. After scouring the internet, we found that you have said the R word. And I'm like, no, technically I said Rodarte. Anything? And the kind of the anticlimactic part of this whole thing is they edit out the confession. So you get to see the whole build up, them working on him. Even the build up is highly edited, which I don't understand. So it's kind of edited, and you get to the end, the big thing. Oh, he's about to confess, and then it just cuts to him like crying. Crying, huh? Oh, I don't know if he lied, though. We'll have to see. All right. Okay, so the background info is a woman named Savannah Gold did not show up to her shift at Bonefish Grill on August 3rd, 2017. And so she didn't show up. And then also her parents got a text that night being like, I met a guy. He's great. And we're running away together. Don't worry about me. Something like that. And then her brother, same thing. And they were just riddled with grammatical errors, and they knew it wasn't her, and she didn't show up for a shift, and so they called in a missing person. The detectives, obviously, she works at Bonefish Grill, talked to everybody at the Bonefish Grill, including the manager, Lee Rodarte. And Rodarte didn't have much to say when they talked to him, when they were talking to everyone. Hey, Rodarte, do you know what happened to Savannah Gold? No, I don't know. Blah, blah, blah. Didn't see, don't know anything. And then they also went and talked to him at his place. And again, not much, but I'm sure that other people at the Bonefish Grill that they talked to, they don't say this, but I'm sure the other people said, yeah, Savannah and Rodarte were dating, kind of, or together for a while and sleeping together, and she was dating a real Rodarte, if you know what I mean. And they also, because Bonefish Grills, which is a chain seafood place, I think it's like the Chili's of seafood. I heard it's pretty good. It's always in like a mall parking lot or a strip mall type place. So there's cameras everywhere. And so they find footage, grainy, but still footage of Rodarte showing up to the Bonefish Grill, Savannah showing up, them speaking outside of his car, getting into the back seat of his car. The car starts shaking a little bit. The door looks like the door is kicked open and then closed and then kicked open again and then closed, and maybe even a third time and closed. So they have that footage, and then no one gets out of the car, and then the car drives away. And so after, I'm sure, being told by other people at the Bonefish Grill that they were somewhat dating or hooking up, coupled with this footage, they go and arrest Rodarte and bring him in for interrogation. And so that's where we're picking up. And all right, so going into this, what do the detectives have? What's their strategy? What are they bringing into this? They have the fact that they know that he didn't say shit when they asked him about, we're trying to find this Savannah girl. Did you work with her? Any information that you can have to help us find us. The clock is ticking. We really want to find her. And he just, I don't know. And which, if you actually knew something and weren't a part of it, you would think that it would just be a very natural, it would even make you feel good. It's like, oh, I do know something. She got in this green truck. You'll hear, this is part of his story, but she'll be like, she got in this random green truck after we talked and just drove away into the Florida sunset. But he didn't say any of that. It was just like, oh, yeah, I don't know. And then they also have, so they have the fact that he didn't say anything, which looks real bad, and then coupled with the fact that they have this surveillance of the car, shaking, door being kicked open, and then he just Redartes the car, Florida's himself away, them both in the car. Okay, so, and what does he have? He probably knows that they know there's a lot more than his story than he said at the beginning, and so he's probably prepared to be like, okay, I do know something. I'm sorry, I was freaking out type of thing. So that's his kind of strategy. I was just freaking out. I was scared. I didn't want to be a suspect. I didn't want to be a suspect. It's like, Rodarte, sorry, man, you're a suspect. Okay, so they bring him in handcuffed. He's wearing his Bonefish Grill, like chef's outfit or uniform, or I don't know. And so they bring him in, he's handcuffed. It takes the guy a comically long time to get the handcuffs off. It's like this nice, seasoned officer being like, oh, it's hard to find the hole when you try to open these. Oh, give me one sec. Oh, shoot. Give me a second. Oh, darn it. And and Redarte's like, please. All right, so they get the cuffs off. And they sit him down in the interrogation in the corner, in the room in the corner, and they say, all right, sit tight, it'll be a few minutes. And they left him in for an hour and a half, which I always think is a great strategy. Might as well wear the person out a little bit mentally. Sit there, sit in it, the anticipation. Maybe they're like, all right, I'm about to just buckle down and lie, and I got this plan. And then it's like, all right, sit there for an hour and a half. And then by that hour, you're just a different person. All the strategy that you had and the courage, and it's just gone. Go sit in a bathroom or something for an hour and a half with nothing, and you'll feel weird. And so they come in all chipper and happy after an hour and a half. Hey, Rodarte, it's us, the detective. So it's a female detective and a male detective. The male sits pretty close, gets right up in his grill, and the female detective is kind of behind a little bit. Okay. And so they ask him if he's on drugs, which is typical because you don't want them to be able to argue later that they were on Xanax or something. I don't know what I was saying. And so he was like, yeah, I took an Adderall this morning. And they're like, do you normally take Adderall? And he goes, no, I just took one. Last one I took was in high school. Because that's how pills usually work. It's just 20 years. Every 20 years I take one. Every 10 years I take one. It's my habit. So they read him the rights, and then they say, okay, we're just here to talk about Savannah. Just a few little things aren't matching up. Just a few little things. And so he's fill me in. Okay. And so Rodarte says, all right, well, we actually did date for a couple months, and we would do some mild drugs together, some pain pills. He does a lot of, and he's kind of downplays everything. Just, we would watch some movies together, and we, hooked up, and and he's doing he's moving his hands like a murderer. Just, whoa, hey, hand gestures. Maybe if I just gesture enough, what I'm saying will seem not Rodarte. All right, so Rodarte is doing his thing, saying how the quick story is that they had dated, and then they would like take some pain pills together. Hey, this is nothing. And then she started doing heroin, and according to Rodarte, he's like, whoa, the hard stuff scares me. Hey. And she started losing weight and not looking that great. And so he said, we're moving too fast. You're having some issues. Let's pull back. And then he started kind of dating the woman, or talking to the woman that he dated previous. And this is just according to Rodarte. So it could just be a bunch of Rodarte. And he he's saying, yeah, she was going downhill and losing all this weight and didn't look well. And then I pulled back and she ended up missing a bunch of work, like a week of work. And I was concerned. And then when she came, and then they're not hanging out at this point, and he's talking to this other girl. And then when she comes back to work and everything, where he's the manager of this Bonefish Grill, he said that she looked better. And that they kind, and he was concerned. She had missed work and she had been doing heroin, and he was concerned about her, and they started to talk again. And then the story is that she started to tell people around where they work that they were sleeping together, and he's the manager, and he's not supposed to be sleeping with the servers. And that's how all those restaurants go, though. It's like a bunch of people that get off work at 2 a.m. and have $100 in their pocket and don't have to work until 5 a.m. the next day. There's going to be hookups. And so it was basically saying, she was telling everyone, we're hooking up. That made him really mad because he's like, I'm the manager. I'll get fired. I obviously like my job, and it's important to me for survival. And so, and also, like, the drug, he was, keeps saying, like, she's a drug addict, and the drugs were getting bad, and all this stuff, and so I said, this is not healthy, we should not talk, and let's erase each other's numbers and not text again. And she agreed to that. This is all according to him. She agreed to that, and that was 2 to 3 weeks ago. Well, he doesn't know that they have the footage of him arguing with her in Bonefish, so he can go with the last contact. That was his big thing, is our last contact, which is the text being like, let's never talk again and delete each other's numbers. That's the last time we contact. So up to this point, the interrogators are just listening, very understanding, when he's like, and then I was hooking up with the previous girl, and he's doing this, hey, ooh. And the interrogators are just like, okay, very understanding, not really pressuring him or anything. And then it's like, okay, well, that was the last time you texted her. When was the last time you saw her? And it must have been the confidence, or he, probably in his head, he's figuring, like, did someone in the Bonefish Grill tell them that we had the altercation? Or there's someone named Chelsea that I think knew, that worked there, that had been telling him in the few days from when she went missing to they arrested him, being like, you need to tell them what you know. You need to call the hotline. And so they're like, okay, well, that's all great. Nice little story about, everything. But when was the last time you saw her, Rodarte? And his response is hilarious. He goes, he shorts out. He just blows a literal gasket, and he says, quote, bzz, bzz. And his hands he goes, I actually wasn't honest with you totally when I said that I hadn't seen her. I think that's the first just completely made up word we've had. Just a bzz, bzz, bzz. And they say, okay, you weren't honest with us. Now is the time. The exact time. Now's the time. And so he goes, I actually wasn't honest with you. And now his new story that he puts forth at this point in the interrogation is that he heard that she was out to dinner with a bunch of people from the Bonefish Grill world, and she had said, yeah, we're sleeping together and blah, blah, blah. And I think, this is my opinion, I think he was trying to talk to his previous girlfriend, so he doesn't want that to come out. And also, he thinks he's going to lose his job because you're not supposed to be hooking up with the servers if you're a manager. And also, I think that his once fun job that he's the manager, I think he enjoyed it showing up, you know. It's like drama free. He's hooking up with Savannah. All of a sudden, that feeling of showing up to work, like I'm the man, you know, is awful because now he shows up and Savannah's there. And Savannah and him are now like not talking and hooked up, and he's scared that he's going to get fired. And so now the whole drama thing, and he looks at her as she's going to get him fired. And but anyway, he hears his stories. He hears that she was telling everyone and gets real mad, and then drove down to Bonefish Grill on the day she goes missing, knowing that she had a shift. And when she showed up, he said that he goes, can we talk? And she goes, I just did heroin, so I'm paranoid. Can I get in the backseat of your car? Turned out to be a lie. The toxicology report of her body, she was sober. And so she gets in the car, and he said that he was saying, like, you can't tell everybody that we're hooking up and stuff because I'm going to get fired, and I need my job. And according to him, she was like, fuck you, I'm going to do whatever I want, and gets out of the car and gets into a mysterious green Ford pickup truck, a 90s green Ford pickup truck. He gets in, and she gets in and drives away. Nothing I can do. She got into a green pickup truck and drove away. Okay, so they let him spin that little tale. And now, at first, they call him, or they don't call him out, but they confront him about why not say any of that when they talk to him the first time at Bonefish Grill and then the second time at his place. You would think if you had nothing to do with it and this girl that you even had a relationship with is missing, you'd think you would bring up this mysterious green truck that she got in and drove off. And his answer to that is, yeah, I freaked out. And they had a hotline, and he was saying that even one of the friends was saying, you got to call the hotline. The female detective's like, did you call the hotline? And he goes, that's his answer to, did you call the hotline? And he's like, no, I was going to, and then, and she's like, did you call it? And he goes, no. And so he's in a tough spot right now because he essentially has to convince them that the reason he just was like, oh, I don't know anything, and didn't bring up that he saw her last and that she got into some mysterious green truck. He has to convince her or them that it's sane and not completely Rodarte to not bring any of that up. And it doesn't go great. And then it moves from that, they're like, okay. And then it moves from that to the surveillance footage. And a lot of times when the interrogators say, yeah, we have it on video, you might as well just confess now. This is all just for show. We got it on video, everything's clear. A lot of times they don't have it on video, or the video sucks. But this time the video is pretty good, and so they're able to be like, Rodarte, there's no green truck, okay? We got footage. There's cameras everywhere. It's strip mall hell out there. There's, So there's no green truck. She never got out of your car. The door kicked open, it shut, it kicked open again. How would we know that if there wasn't video, if there wasn't good video? We're not. So what happened to Savannah Gold, Rodarte? There's no green truck, okay? And now he's sitting there just like, and you can tell that he believes him about the footage. He's sitting there like, he's getting quiet. There's a lot of, I didn't do this, and now it's just like, Rodarte, with the footage, she stayed in your car and you drove off, so we don't need the green truck, you didn't bring it up. And slowly but surely, he is not having as much fun. the Adderall that he took that morning is probably wearing off, and the pressure really starts to build from there. Like I said, the confession's edited out, but we'll pick up right there next time. And I hope you guys are having a good day. Why, Steven, why? See you later.